All right, so we have a fun and interesting blog post I want to go over here today. It is titled Have Taken Up Farming, and it is by Dylan Araps, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Dylan is kind of a legend, and I'm going to show you guys why. So I've actually talked about Dylan before. I think on this channel we've used like NeoFetch. You've probably used this tool yourself. Did you know that NeoFetch is just written in Bash, and I love Bash, and this is all written by Dylan, so this is his project. There's a lot of Bash, there's a lot of stuff going on here. It's breaking my Vim syntax highlighter. But that's not the point. The point is I've talked about him before. Even in my video where I do like a HTTP web server in pure Bash, I think we even go to his pure Bash Bible. I'll show you guys right here. We pull this up during the video, and he has like a whole list of really cool like Bash commands and Bash functions you can use. I think we use this to grab the percent encoding thing from it. Basically, I'm scratching the surface here. This guy's kind of a legend. He's definitely earned a name here in this space. So today we're going to read his blog post on Have Taken Up Farming to kind of figure out, why did he just disappear from the internet? So yeah, let's dive into it. My name is Dylan. Like I said, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Araps? I'm sorry. But yeah, we're just going to say Dylan. My name is Dylan, and I used to be a software engineer. Best known for my open source work, NeoFetch, which we talked about, PyWall. PyWall is actually cool. I had to look this one up. I didn't know what it was. This seems like legitimately useful. Like, you generate and change color schemes on the fly. It generates a color palette based on the dominant colors in an image. Like, this actually seems genuinely useful. I've actually saved this repo for myself so I can go look at it later. But let's not get distracted here. We have the pure Bash Bible. We also have Kiss Linux. If you've never seen Kiss Linux, it's KISS, keep it simple, stupid. It's a really cool and interesting project. I have never installed it myself, but I've used it before. I remember, it was like years ago, someone had like a virtual machine. I remember logging into it and I was like, what is this distribution? This is so interesting. But yeah, again, let's not get distracted here. I'm so good at doing this. In 2021, without explanation and without telling anyone, I vanished from the internet. My usage of the internet became strictly read-only. In 2024, I appeared briefly to tell the world that I retired and had, quote, taken up farming. The vagueness of my message and strangeness surrounding its circumstances created a lot of buzz. It is not every day a person in a cushy, intellectual career drops everything and pivots to working outdoors with their body. It was amusing to read the theories people came up with, from driving a tractor up and down massive tracts of land to being holed up in a Kaczynski-esque cabin in the woods. Yeah, I think a lot of people probably pictured that. And honestly, like, if someone wants to fall off the face of the earth, especially around 2021 with what was going on, like, dude, I completely get it, man. I know that was a breaking point for a lot of people. Like, at the end of 2020, I had quit my job. I didn't go take up farming. I didn't go radio silent. I'm not saying my story is this. I'm just saying I can relate to at least like a facet of this. Today, I returned to the internet to tell my story and announce wild.gr. So we'll go through this website probably later at the end of this video, but you can see that it kind of goes over like the whole estate and all the farming that he's doing in Greece, which seems really, really cool. The people involved. And it's a natural farming estate in Greece, making small batches of natural amber wine and unfiltered olive oil. So pretty cool stuff. We'll dive into this more later. For nearly a decade, I spent the majority of my waking hours sedentary and staring at a screen. Praised for my work ethic, quick responses to messages, and sheer number of projects, I was seen as a wizard. People loved what I was doing, and I, in turn, wanted to please them. Chasing attention led to my projects becoming more complex and bigger in scope over time. It became increasingly difficult to maintain them and keep up the wizard persona. Oh man, yeah, that's gotta be brutal. This left me tired and worn out, humpbacked, skinny-limbed, out of shape, and in constant pain with chronic cough from years of smoking among many issues. Oh yeah. Listen, just he's got it to like an extreme level, but like just the tech field in general, we do a lot of sitting. Like, it does not promote a healthy lifestyle of what we do. Like, I'm laughing because I also have dealt with the effects of it, and it's not fun. You have to take time out of the day to actually work out. Like I was on the treadmill earlier today. It's not easy, sadly. Abusing substances to sleep and others to wake up and unable to exert myself for more than a few seconds before running out of breath. My diet consisted of meats, potatoes, junk food, and little else. Yeah, everything around me was in a state of decay from neglect, and the worse life became, the deeper the descent into my work. Oh yeah, because it's like the one thing that even brings you some happiness, even though you know it's hurting you in the long run. I mean, same way you're describing bad food, bad diet. It's why you do it. It's because it's easy in the short term and terrible in the long run for you. This is brutal. In the end, things reached a breaking point and I started experiencing burnout. This was beyond simply needing some time away. Recovering, getting back to work, and soon after burning out again, this cycle continued and got progressively worse until I couldn't work any longer. Many hours were spent sitting at the computer, unable to put anything on the screen. My brain was fried. Yeah, this is brutal. Because I have a video, I talk about my own bout of burnout, how I took a year and a half off of working and just was unemployed, lived off of the money I had saved up, and did nothing with computers. I needed that. That was my reset. It sounds like this is that, but on like a way higher level, like a level that I had not attained, and thank God I had not attained, at least from what I have read so far, because this seems awful to try and manage and deal with. This culminated in an existential crisis where I asked myself, what am I doing with my life? The realization, all I was doing day after day, year after year, was making the lights on the screen light up a little different, and in the process killing myself to do it as effectively and efficiently as possible. Oh man, this is such a real thing. Like I can just relate to this one so much. Not even the computer thing, not even the specifics of it. What I mean is just the way that he talked about this, where it's like, what am I doing? I'm spending this time turning the lights on the screen. When you start taking your hobby and reducing it down to things like that, like if you're talking about a musical instrument, like what am I doing? Just putting breath in this thing and pressing buttons. When you start being reductive towards the thing you're doing, that's when, like, that's a sign that something's probably already gone wrong. But that's a sign that you need to step away from this thing. Like you're not appreciating it in the way that you should be, or shouldn't be, who knows? But like your appreciation is gone. Whether it should be there or not, that's a different story. But when you start reducing things like that, you've lost your appreciation. You should step away no matter what. That's a tough situation to be in. I don't envy that. Unable to work any longer, I stopped and abandoned all effort. This then is the cause of my disappearance from the internet. When life gives you signs that you need to make a change, it's best you listen sooner rather than later. Ignored for too long, life forces the change, and as it's forced, it comes at the worst time, attached with a lot of pain. To go back to the burnout example, like even just a lesser version of what he's talking about, when your body starts telling you it's time to rest, you better rest, because your body's going to make you rest whether you do or not. So like you could either choose, oh, I go and do this now while I at least can kind of control a little bit of it, or I can have this come at the worst possible time and completely knock me on my butt. Like your body's going to do what it's going to do. Either you can listen, like the wind's going to blow. You can either set sail against it or with it, but either way, you have to set sail or else you're just going to get thrown around. Stopping left a massive void. Without the 16 plus hour days lost in computer code, I didn't know what else to do. Eventually, I turned to reading books and bought myself a Kindle. I jailbroke it, filled it with public domain ebooks, and spent all of my time reading. Not much of a reader before this, I had the entire world of literature to choose from. Hey man, that's pretty awesome. And you know what? The computer skills probably made it super easy to jailbreak, so that's great. I mean, that part's good. Everything I read made reference to the Bible, something I had never read nor was in any way acquainted with. The references kept appearing, and eventually I decided to dive in headfirst and read it, putting the King James version of the Bible on my Kindle. Over many months, I read it cover to cover. That is wild to me. Okay, let me break this down why that's wild to me. It's not wild that everything made reference to the Bible. That makes perfect sense. You can see that anywhere. It's the same way you go to Wikipedia, start clicking links, you'll eventually get to philosophy. Like it's at the root of a lot of things. I completely understand how that happens. I could definitely understand the thought of this is at the root of all of it, so why not go there and just read it myself? Why did you jump into the King James version? I'm very curious about that, because like I know people that claim that the King James version is like the, proper or the best version of the Bible to read. If you want the real experience, you should read that. It's the best translation. I'm just wondering if you came across that in your reading, or if that was something you had like heard growing up, or someone had maybe said to you, or something that got in your brain, even in your subconscious, that you weren't aware of, because that's surprising to me. So like for reference, people who don't know, I have a copy of the New International Version, the Bible right here. If we just go to like Genesis chapter 1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. Okay, that's like the first chapter, right? Let's go over here. I got a copy of the King James Version, and we can go ahead and read the exact same chapter, the exact same verse. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So I'm going to give you the 10,000 foot view of this. I'm going to give you the very simple version of this, which is probably, a little bit reductive and a little bit wrong. The King James Version is the these, the thous, the thus. It's harder to read. I'm not saying one's better than the other. That's not what I'm trying to say here. I'm just saying, like, it's just interesting that Dylan decided, you know what, I'm going to read the Bible. Not only am I going to read the Bible, I'm doing it on hard mode. Okay. That's like trying to read Kant and going to the Critique of Pure Reason and being like, you know what, I'm going to read the original version. I'm not going to read the English translation. Or learning English to read that translation when it's not your native language. Whatever people do. My point is, that's hard mode, man. I don't know why you chose to do that, but more power to you. Like, you were definitely called to read the Bible, and you did, and you went right for the King James Version, so that's kind of impressive. At the time, I wouldn't have called myself an atheist. Agnostic is not the right word to use either. Not that I believed or didn't believe in the existence of God. In truth, I had simply never thought about it. In place of an answer was lack of the preceding question. Yeah, I think a lot of people are in that situation, so I can definitely relate with that as well. I finished reading the Bible. It resonated with me in a way nothing else had before. A mirror was put in front of me, and I saw myself clearly for the first time. Finding God. I realized how far I had drifted from the straight and narrow. Weak of mind, steeped in sin, ruled by bodily desires and whims of fancy. The life I led could only lead to one place, the broad road alongside the liars, thieves, fornicators, murderers, and cheats, for I was one of them. Yeah, that's heavy, man. Like, I don't know what else to say. Clearly this had a profound effect on you, and I'm really glad you came back to write this blog post. This is really cool that you were sharing this. No longer lost and with newfound purpose, I set out to return to the straight and narrow. Knowing how I got here and where I had to go, I set out to change my life. Over the next 3 years, I became a different person. One by one, I quit cold turkey all vice that had afflicted me. Caffeine, sugar, gaming, and processed food. For the first time in my life, I gained control over myself. That is incredible. To quit those cold turkey is a wild thing. Like, this requires an immense amount of, like, self-control and just an immense amount of, like, perseverance and drive. Like, that is impressive. I don't care who you are. That is an impressive thing to do. The funny thing here is, I don't think that he needs me to be impressed by it. I don't think that me being impressed by it would have an effect on him one way or the other. It's probably a reason why he's so able to do this. It's completely, like, inward. His drive for this would be, like, inside himself or outside of himself and with God in that situation. So that's impressive. For reasons of spirituality, morality, and health, I stopped eating all animal products, meat, fish, dairy, eggs, adopting instead the diet of my great-grandparents. Plants, local, seasoned, and whole. That's incredible. From eating only potatoes to eating everything. I ate figs for the first time and then proceed to make up for all the years spent not eating them. That's awesome. From home, I took up calisthenics, yoga, and barefoot running, the real kind, without shoes, and slowly reversed every postural problem and muscle imbalance created over the years. I regained my vitality. Dude, I mean, that's awesome. This is great. This is great stuff to read. As a result, my sleep-wake cycle, chronic cough, headaches, and other issues resolved, and I no longer felt like an old man. All that remained was to decide what to do with my life. From a spiritual perspective, there are only two career paths one can take: farmer or artisan. Anything else unavoidably involves doing evil or is essentially meaningless. Okay, now that's interesting. That is quite the strong take here. I understand where you're coming from with this. Yeah, because this is more than just your career. Well, what I should sort my thoughts better. I think when people think of career, they separate it from themselves and they think of a career as just something they do, not who they are. And I think Dylan has a more holistic view of everything. So he's like, whatever I do is who I am. So your career, what you're doing, the thing you're doing to the world, the thing you're doing outside of yourself, that's still you. It's still taking up your time. So it needs to have meaning the way that all of your acts should have meaning. So I can understand that. That's just, wow. He's very much living what he's preaching here. I chose the path of farmer, and to be more precise, natural farmer. A vampire for so long, I needed to work outside in the sunshine with my hands. My family, brother, mother, grandmother, and I set out to acquire land and embark on the new endeavor together. Oh, that's awesome. In the village of Amphithia, on the Greek island of Euboea, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Side note, in 2018, my family and I moved from Australia to Greece. Gotcha. We found a small abandoned and neglected estate, complete with house, vineyard, and olive trees. We call this venture Wild, and thus began our life as farmers. So this makes sense. This is the Wild website that we have open here to check out that he linked above. When I said I've taken up farming, this is what I meant. I'm not growing corn and soybeans on 100 acres of land while spraying Roundup and other poisons. And no, there's no manifesto decrying the system written from a cabin in the woods. There's just me and my family in a sleepy Greek village producing natural food and living according to nature. Welcome to wild.gr. That's incredible. That's so interesting here. So that makes sense. That's what we have here. You can see natural farming estate, Nubia, Greece, making a small batch of natural amber, wine, and unfiltered olive oil. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff on this website. I did some clicking around and it's really cool. He's actually on Instagram, so you can go follow Wild Natural Farm on Instagram. So this is pretty cool. Look at this. Oh my God, this cat is adorable. I'm such a sucker for cats. Oh my God, these are so cute. So I have a lot of thoughts on this and I'm a little bit torn right here. I'm just gonna be honest, because I was about to say, oh, let's go ahead and throw him a follow. Then I realized I wasn't logged in, so I was gonna go, pull up my phone. I have the Instagram channel with 230,000 followers where I talk about programming and I could throw him a follow. I don't know if I want to. And let me explain. I don't know if it'd be appropriate. It feels weird. Let me explain what I mean by that. Let's pull up the terminal. This this white theme is too much for me. I'm just going to pull up the terminal because it's a nice darker theme. It's not going to be blinding me as much. There we go. Or, oh my God, I'm not even thinking. Let's just pull up the big screen. There you go. I was going to follow him and then I thought, is that weird? Is that inappropriate? Because it's like a programming channel. And the way he describes it, especially in the blog post, he refers to himself as a software engineer in the past tense. So it sounds like this life is behind him. It might be behind him for now. Maybe he'll come back. But the way he talks about it, I don't know if that will ever happen. So I would feel weird from a programming channel following him over there. Like I wouldn't want to do that. I feel like he's in his own world, and if he wants to branch out like he's doing with Instagram and stuff, good for him. That's awesome. But I don't want to like throw this world back at him because it sounds like it's had a very profoundly negative effect on him, and he is now finding like profoundly positive things in the world. So he's going that way. I do think it's cool that he's sharing this on the internet now. It's been years and that he's creating an Instagram. So maybe we'll see more of him if he can engage with this world in a way that isn't a net negative on his life. Then I think that'd be a good thing. But I don't want to throw someone in the deep end because just me personally, I get excited about this stuff. I think this stuff is super fun. You guys all know my story of burnout. You can go watch my video where I talk about that. When I came back to tech, I have just been reinvigorated about it, and I love it. I love creating content. I love doing this stuff. I love talking about Bash. So like Dylan's stuff has come up a bunch because he's like a legend in his own right here. So yeah, I think that's super interesting. There's absolutely something to be said for working with your hands and getting outside and doing something as I sit comfortably inside in my gaming chair and talk to a web camera. So like, listen, man, I know this isn't good for us. You have to get out and do something, and he's living that life. So I think that's great. It sounds like he's found purpose, he's found meaning, and he's found something that's fulfilling. So that's awesome. I wish him the best. I think that is super cool. Dylan, if for some reason you are watching this, dude, you're a legend, man. Like, your Pure Bash Bible is super cool. I have learned so much stuff from you. We do a ton of Bash on this channel. I think it's super fun. You've just done some really, really cool stuff. I think it's awesome. Also, again, if you're completely out of this world, that's fine. Stay out of it. That's totally fine. Like, you're a legend here. You don't need to do any more. You've done more than enough. So you don't need to feel like you come back and owe us anything. You really don't. So the only thing I can tell you, though, I'm not trying to suck you back in. I swear, that's not what I'm trying to do. I just want to let you know that from my perspective, in the last 2 years, I've built up this YouTube channel. I've started making content on other platforms like that, and people like this kind of content. They like Bash scripting. They really enjoy it. I have found a community of people that watches me script in Bash, and they like it, and I think it's super cool. It's an incredibly positive community. There are really cool people here doing really awesome stuff. So if you ever try to find a pathway back that doesn't have 16-hour days where you're hunched over a computer late at night trying to one-up yourself, that's for you to figure out. That's not my place to tell you how to do that, okay? That's between you and yourself. That's between you and God at that point. That's not my place. All I can say is there are some pretty cool people online. We have built a really cool community. There's a lot of people that really like Bash scripting. There's a lot of people that still use their software, man. So nice job. It's awesome. There's really cool and positive things out here. I have been able to find it, and it sounds like you have found your positive thing as well. So that's super cool. So I wish you luck, man. I think that's awesome. And finally, of course, we can't go out with the video without doing the exact opposite of what Dylan's doing. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. No, I'm just joking. But for real, I do want to give a shout out to my patrons over at Patreon. Thank you guys for giving me money. I think that's super awesome. The more people that give me money, the sooner I could quit my job and just focus on doing this stuff, like making educational content. Because in really, when it comes down to it, I like making educational content. I think it's super fun. And the fact that I can make it available for free, because like people are paying me to do this. I think this is super cool. What an oxymoron. The fact that I can make it free because people are paying me. The fact that I can release the course materials and educational material for free because a handful of people are paying me money. I think that's really cool. Like, you guys are supporting the free content that I'm able to make. So I think that's really cool. Shout out to all you patrons over there, Patreon. And shout out to Dylan, man. Like, I think that's super cool, dude. I wish you luck. I think it's awesome.